So what happens when a country tries to out-innovate a $2 trillion debt spiral?
Where you get a lot of friction. I mean, a massive contradiction, really.
Exactly. Usually when we talk about national strategy, there's this expectation of like surgical precision. You break a bone, the X-ray shows the jagged line, and the doctor says, that is what we fix.
Right. A visible linear problem.
Yeah. But stepping into the geopolitical and tech landscape of early 2026, it feels like staring at an X-ray where the machine itself is just malfunctioning.
Yeah, the whole foundation is shaking.
Welcome to the deep dive. And to you, the learner listening in, we are thrilled to have you here today. Our mission is to unpack this ultimate high-stakes gamble that the U.S. has initiated.
It's essentially a hyper-ambitious sprint for absolute technological supremacy.
Right, but happening at the exact same moment that severe macroeconomic headwinds are threatening the country's entire financial foundation.
You've got a nation trying to rewrite the physical laws of its own economy while racing against a ticking fiscal clock.
To understand how this is playing out, we are pulling from a really heavy stack of sources today.
Oh yeah, it's a dense one.
We've got official White House executive orders from late 2025 and early 2026, a rigorous legal analysis from Holland and Knight, sobering budget projections from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and some intense global financial reporting on currency shifts.
And before we get into all the mechanisms of this, we should probably throw out a quick disclaimer.
Yes, mandatory disclaimer time for you, the listener. Because our sources today cover current political policies, active executive orders, and politically charged economic data. We want to be perfectly clear, we are not taking any political sides here.
Strictly impartial reporters today.
Exactly. Our goal is strictly to help you understand the ideas and the strategies contained in the original source material. We're not endorsing any specific viewpoint, just looking at the data.
Which is critical because the data we're examining is polarizing, but the actual, physical infrastructure being built right now is concrete.
Okay, let's unpack this. Set the stage for us. How do all these vastly different sources, from AI supercomputers to the national debt, tell one massive story?
Well, to understand the grand strategy, we really have to start with the Genesis mission.
Oh, right.
Yeah, launched via executive order in November 2025. And it completely reimagines how scientific discovery happens.
How so?
The stated goal is to integrate the world's largest collection of federal scientific data sets, supercomputing resources, and actual robotic labs into one unified AI platform.
The American Science and Security Platform, right?
Exactly. But the deadlines are what's truly aggressive here. They mandate identifying compute resources in 90 days and achieving an initial operating capability in just 270 days.
See, I have to push back on that a bit because 270 days to launch a unified federal AI platform, that sounds like trying to build a skyscraper in a month.
It does sound completely absurd, yeah.
I mean, we all remember how long it took just to build functional healthcare websites. Is this just a massive, glorified data consolidation exercise, or does this actually change how science is fundamentally done?
What's fascinating here is that if it were just building a better digital filing cabinet, your skepticism would be entirely warranted. But it's not just data storage.
Okay, then what is the AI actually doing?
It's deploying autonomous AI agents to explore design spaces and physically automate research workflows. Instead of human scientists spending years doing trial and error on, say, battery degradation, an AI model analyzes the global data set, formulates a new compound, and directly instructs a physical robotic laboratory to mix the chemicals.
Wait, really? The AI is directly commanding physical robotic labs to do the experiments?
Yes. The robot runs the test, sensors feed the failure data back to the AI, it instantly adjusts the formula, and runs the next test. It totally removes the human bottleneck.
Wow. But handing over autonomous physical labs to AI sounds like a massive security risk. Are there guardrails, or is this just a, move fast and break things approach applied to federal science?
Well, the Holland and Knight legal analysis illuminates how they're pulling this off without getting bogged down.
Right, because usually Congress would be all over this.
Exactly. The EO closely mirrors recommendations from the National Security Commission on Emerging Biotechnology, which wanted to fix federal research fragmentation. But it notably omits any formal congressional role.
They bypass Congress.
Pretty much. They're relying heavily on existing Department of Energy national labs and the statutory powers of the Secretary of Energy.
So they're weaponizing existing bureaucracy to force this 270-day sprint. And why should you, the listener, care? Because the stated goal is to double the return on taxpayer R&D investments within a decade.
Which is huge, right?
It's about getting cures, advanced materials, and tech to you faster than ever before.
But, that theory hits a massive physical wall pretty quickly. You cannot run the world's most advanced AI platform on a standard outdated power grid.
Yeah. Moving from digital ambition to physical infrastructure takes a ridiculous amount of energy. Which brings us to Project Stargate.
Right, this is where the sheer scale comes in. Stargate is a joint venture pouring $500 billion into AI data centers.
$500 billion, starting with that flagship facility in Abilene, Texas.
Yes, and to power this behemoth, the administration is pushing a full-blown nuclear renaissance. They are literally restarting dormant nuclear plants.
Like Holtec's Palisades plant and the Crane Clean Energy Center, right?
Exactly. And they're fast-tracking small modular reactors, or SMRs, to get power online faster.
But the wild part is how AI is accelerating the energy sources needed to power the AI, like that NVIDIA and General Atomics digital twin of the DID fusion facility.
Oh, that example is incredible. Usually running plasma physics simulations takes supercomputers weeks, but the AI surrogate models turn those weeks of computation into interactive answers in seconds.
In seconds. But here's where it gets really interesting. Plugging a bleeding-edge AI data center into America's current grid is like hooking up a supercomputer to a classic car battery.
That's a great way to put it. The grid just can't handle the transmission load.
Right, and the sources mention streamlining environmental permitting and opening federal lands. Can we really fast-track nuclear reactors and these massive data centers without cutting critical safety corners?
So the administration's strategy relies on targeted regulatory reform. They're using things like the FAST T41 program for expedited reviews and updating NEPA guidelines.
So it's a calculated push.
Exactly. They call it speed to power. The overarching belief is that losing the global AI infrastructure race is a bigger existential threat to the country than the localized risks of expedited permitting.
Wow, and this tech push isn't just happening behind closed doors at server farms. It's actively reshaping the physical world you interact with every day.
The digital foundation is manifesting in heavy industry.
Yeah, look at the year one highlights. The Artemis II mission prepping to send Americans around the moon in 2026. A record-breaking 176 orbital launches into 2025.
And down on Earth, there's the Zoox exemption.
Right, the first for a U.S.-built autonomous vehicle without a steering wheel or pedals, and the X-59 quiet supersonic aircraft ending that long ban on overland supersonic flight.
Those are the highly visible milestones. But the foundational safety tools are just as important.
Like the Thor 05F Advanced Female Crash Test Dummy. I kept zeroing in on this in the sources. It captures 3 times more injury data than previous models.
It's a massive leap in physical safety data.
But it's wild that in an era of quantum computing and AI, a physical crash test dummy is considered a massive breakthrough. Are we finally bridging the gap between digital simulation and actual physical safety for everyday people?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, yes. Because to run those complex digital safety simulations, you need an astronomical amount of high-fidelity physical data. And the massive AI supercomputers process it.
So the administration is systematically dismantling outdated rules to favor this domestic physical manufacturing.
Right, whether it's decades-old automated vehicle standards or that 1985 air traffic control system.
They're making sure the U.S. doesn't just design the future digitally, but actually manufactures and tests it domestically.
Exactly. It's a completely holistic approach.
But let's pivot to the cost here. Because building the Genesis mission, dropping $500 billion on Project Stargate, lunar outposts, reindustrialization, all of this costs a staggering amount of money.
It does. And right now, the macroeconomic ground beneath the U.S. is shaking violently. The bill is definitely coming due.
The data from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, the CRFB, is genuinely sobering.
The projections are grim. Net interest on the national debt is projected to more than double.
It's jumping from $970 billion in fiscal year 2025 to $2.1 trillion by 2036.
And by 2029, the interest payments alone will cost more than the entire Medicare program.
That is terrifying.
By 2047, it will exceed Social Security.
And concurrently, we have this Binance news report showing the U.S. dollar falling sharply in early 2026.
Yeah, as BRICS nations push hard for de-dollarisation.
They're establishing alternative financial systems, and Saudi Arabia ended the petrodollar agreement. So what does this all mean? It feels like maxing out a high-interest credit card to buy a state-of-the-art factory.
That's a very apt comparison.
If the US dollar loses its global dominance and our interest payments swallow up a quarter of all our revenue, does our AI and quantum dominance even matter? Can tech save us from a debt spiral?
This raises an important question, right? The strategy revealed in these sources is essentially a race against time.
A race they have to win.
Absolutely. The U.S. is betting that total technological and resource supremacy, like dominating semiconductors and nuclear energy, will generate enough economic growth and strategic leverage to offset the loss of absolute financial hegemony.
So it's a massive pivot.
Yes, a shift from relying on the power of the dollar to relying on the power of American infrastructure and innovation.
Okay, to summarize the core tension of this deep dive, the U.S. is sprinting toward a sci-fi future. They're using AI to revolutionize science, rewriting the rules of the physical world, and building a massive energy grid.
All while racing against the ticking clock of a massive national debt and a fracturing global currency system.
Exactly. It's a high-wire act.
It really is.
Yeah.
And to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative thought to mull over, there were two specific initiatives mentioned in the materials that we shouldn't overlook.
Oh, which ones?
The Pax Silica initiative and the Earth MRI project. The Earth MRI project is using advanced surveys to find critical minerals hidden right here in old U.S. mine waste.
Wow, looking for minerals in old mine waste.
Yeah. So if the U.S. dollar's status as the global reserve currency truly fractures in a multipolar world, could these physical, domestically mined critical minerals and our AI-driven supply chains become the actual hard currency of the 21st century?
That is fascinating. If you control the physical materials and the AI that runs them, maybe the fiat currency doesn't matter as much. Well, thank you, the learner, for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you keep questioning the rapid changes happening around you. Farewell.